Good morning, AISB swimmers. So today we are going to be talking about backstroke. So the first part of backstroke that we're going to be talking about is keeping your body as flat as possible. So when you're doing backstroke, you want your body to lay as flat on the surface of the water as possible. So the smaller your body looks like a profile on the surface of the water, the less resistance you'll feel as you swim, and it'll be easier to go faster or to swim quicker because there's less drag of the water. A lot of people have a hard time trying to get their hips to float to the surface of the water, so their legs and body sink a little bit down below the surface. This is okay to a certain degree, but you got to try and keep your hips as close as possible to the surface of the water, and that way your body will remain flat. That's why a lot of the times, you guys will remember, I always tell you guys to try and push your bellies, your tummies up as high as you can to the sky, so that keeps your hips nice and flat to the surface of the water. The second part of backstroke that we're going to be talking about now is being comfortable with water covering the sides of your face. So a lot of younger swimmers struggle with the water being in their ears, but with backstroke it's important to keep parts of your face or part of your head underwater, as it allows the rest of your body to be close to the surface of the water. So a lot of the time the problem is with students is that instead of keeping their head back, they'll put their chin closer to their chest so that the water is out of their ears, but what happens is it makes you less streamlined in the water and also causes your body to sink. So you need to be able to keep your head back in a neutral position, almost like as if it's facing up to the sky, and be comfortable with water getting into your ears and possibly touching your eyes or your nose while you're swimming, because with this stroke at least you are able to breathe continuously as your face is always out the water. The third part of the backstroke technique that we're going to be talking about now is using a flutter kick. So what that is, it's basically, if you think about it, it's the reverse of the freestyle kick. Okay, so basically when one foot starts kicking up, the other one is kicking down. And what you need to remember here is that you need to kick from your hips. So what I mean by that is, don't bend your knees so much that your legs are moving just from your kneecaps to your toes that are moving up and down. You need to kick with your whole leg. So feel that your thighs or the muscles in your quadriceps are they're using those muscles to use your legs to kick up and down in a very rhythmic motion, or to try and keep a good rhythm, rather than trying to kick too hard or too fast that you use all of your energy. Remember, we were trying to swim as quick as possible using the least amount of energy, so that we don't have to try and exert ourselves too much and we slow down towards the end of the race, or to the end of the lap if we're only swimming 1 or 2 laps. For the next part of the backstroke, we're going to be talking about making sure that your arms are moving in the correct motion and that they're reaching as far out as possible. So as you start to kick forward, your arms at your sides, you'll reach one arm up in front of you and it should point up towards the sky or ceiling, and then being brought up over your head by your ear and down into the water. So it'll be pointing in the direction that you're traveling. So in other words, it'll be pointing towards the wall that you're trying to swim towards. And when that arm hits the water, you bring your hand down, and that's when you will push or propel yourself forward. And then when you're busy pushing yourself forward with the hand that's just started, the next arm that is at your side will then repeat that motion of the other arm by reaching up to the ceiling, up over your head, past your ear, and then your other hand at this point will be by your side, and then you push back, and then we'll start with the other hand. So what sometimes happens is students will have short arms, or keep their arms bent during the backstroke, and that won't allow them to give a good push through the water to propel themselves forward or to move themselves forward in the best possible way. For the next important part of the backstroke is the position of your hands when they enter the water, so that you minimize resistance or drag in the water. So to swim as efficiently as possible, or to swim as well as you can, it's important to remember that your hands should enter and exit the water with the edges first, not the palms. So that's why we always say that you want to try and get your pinkies, your fingers together, and pretend that your hand, starting with your pinky finger, is like a knife and you're cutting into the water, so that we're not having our hands flat and we're slapping the water. So when you lift your arm out of the water, you lead with your thumb. So when our arms are at our sides, we lead with our thumb points up to the sky, we then go up straight to the sky, and then we turn our hands so that we lead with our pinky fingers and cut into the water. Okay guys, for today's exercises, this is completely up to you if you'd like to do this one again. We are going to do the one where you're only going to do one set of each exercise, but do it as long as you can for 1 minute. Okay, I want you to try and see how long you can do it for and how many you can do in 1 minute depending on the exercise, and let me know in the comments how many you managed to achieve in 1 minute. You don't have to do these exercises today if you don't want to, but if you do choose to do them, let me know how you do. This exercise that we're going to do now is the skip rope, and unfortunately I don't have a rope with me at the moment, and you may not have one at home, so all we're going to do is that we are going to pretend. So what I want you to do is I want you to keep your feet together. I want you to pretend that you have a rope in your hands, and you can go this way around, so backwards, or you can go forward, whichever way, and all we're going to do is pretend that we are jumping over a rope. So we're just going to keep our arms or our wrists going, pretending we have the rope in our hands, and we're going to continuously jump. Yeah, so it's going to be like this. This exercise that we're going to do now is going to be our simple push-ups, and I'm going to give you 2 ways that you can do it. So the first way is going to be the easier way. So as I've shown you in previous videos, we put our hands shoulder width apart, and we have our knees on the ground, and all you're going to do is going to go down, all the way down so that almost your nose is touching the floor, and push yourself all the way up. If we're going to do the more difficult way, we're going to have our feet up, also shoulder width apart, and all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up. So you can do the easy way or the more challenging or the more difficult way, it's up to you. The exercise that we're going to be doing now is our simple sit-up. Okay, so you would go onto the floor, and from this position we're going to have our feet or our legs shoulder width apart again. We are going to lie all the way back on the floor, and what I want you to do is you're going to lift your hands up like this, and I want you to go up until your arms or your wrists are in line with your knees. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so don't do this, don't do that. I want you to almost feel like you're sliding your arms up your legs. So we're going up. The next exercise that we are going to do is lunges. And what we're going to do for this one is we're going to start in a normal standing position, feet shoulder width apart, our hands on our hips. And from here, we're going to start with our left foot forward and our right foot back. And all that you're going to do is you're going to bend your knees, and we're going to make our back leg, so this leg over here, the knee, try to go as low down to the floor as we can. So it's going to look like this. So we're going to go 1, switch legs, 2, switch legs, 3. Yeah, so try and get your knee as far down as you can, just before it's touching the floor, and push back up. Okay, the exercise that we're going to do now is going to be our shoulder taps. So what we're going to do now for the shoulder taps is we're going to go into a normal push-up position, and with these shoulder taps we are going to add in a little bit of a different move into the. Okay, the exercise that we're going to do now is shoulder taps, but we're going to do it with a slight change. So what you first of all need to be doing is in your push-up position. So you're going to put yourself in your push-up position, and what we would normally do is we would touch, touch, touch. We're still going to do that, but this time we're going to go left side, right side. Okay, and then we're going to alternate by taking our arms up. So we're going to go, the first one's going to be touch, touch, reach, reach, touch, touch, reach, reach. Okay guys, for this exercise we're going to be doing star jumps. So for star jumps we start with our feet together, our hands at our side. And our next move from here is going to be in the star formation. So from here we would move out, with our arms apart, our legs apart, and move back in. Okay? And then to do the star jump exercise, you do it without stopping. So it looks something like this. Okay guys, for this exercise we are going to be doing twists with our abs while sitting down. So it's going to look like this. We're going to sit down into our normal sit-up position. We're going to have our feet shoulder width apart, but from here we're going to keep our hands together, pretend we've got something in our hands, and we're going to move it from side to side. Okay, so you hold just halfway, so not that you're sitting up, and not that you're lying all the way down, so just halfway, and from here we're going to go left, right, left, right, left, right. So you can pretend that you're rowing a boat. So you go left, right, left, right. Keep your legs, your feet on the ground, and don't go too far back or sit too far up. You must be pulling very tight on your tummies.